Today we're going to be talking about the Maganus Cloud Blaster by Vapeston. What's up, everybody? John English here with the Vapor Watch. We're going to be taking a look at the Maganus Cloud Blaster by Vapeston. This is the latest in the super sub-home tanks, I guess. Super wattage, high wattage tanks. A lot of them be coming out here lately. There's a little difference in this one, though. This one, top airflow. No leaking whatsoever. And I know a lot of people that have top airflow, that have used top airflow tanks in the past, say the flavor's muted or whatever the case may be. This one's a little bit different. I've had really no problems whatsoever as far as the flavor goes. I only have really one subjective con, and it's really the styling that I have a con with. Well, a couple of cons, and we'll get to that on the backside. So the coil I have in it right now is good. It says it's good up to 180 watts, so I've got it at 170 watts. This is on the OG Snow Wolf. Let's see how she goes here. No problem so far. Yeah, it's hot. That's a hot vape, but no dry hits. It's not dry hitting at all, and I'm getting full-on flavor. Very nice, very nice. 170 watts. 0.2 ohms is what it's showing on the mod itself. Before it gets too cloudy in here, before I get over-nicked, let's go up close and personal, check this thing out. We'll come back up. I'll give you my final thoughts and pros and cons. Here we are with the Maganus Cloud Blaster by Vapeston. Nice, really nice box. This is the gold one. It's going to have a little sticker there to tell you what color it is. Got Vapeston there. Top airflow, 50 to 260 watts, depending on which coil you use. And then right here on the other side, you're going to have all the three options in the box themselves. So you got three, what they're calling X3 coils. This is the RTA coil, and we'll show you that. You got the turbo coil 0.15 ohm, which is 50 to 260 watts, best between 90 and 180. Then you have the 0.2 ohm, which is 50 to 180 watts, best wattage 70 to 120. On the back here, it's going to tell you what all is included in the kit. You're going to have the Cloud Blaster tank itself. You're going to have the RTA section with a velocity deck, pre-installed coils, and then you're going to have the 0.15 ohm and the 0.2 ohm, replacement Pyrex glass tube, replacement parts, and a user manual. Of course, scratch and check there, some legal disclaimers, warnings, and all that good stuff. Now, this thing will come wrapped in a cellophane package, so you'll have to tear that off, and then you just slide it right out. Here's your manual. And then you're going to have your coils, your spare coils are actually going to be in cool little containers. Take the tank out and kind of look at it before we look at some of the other things here. Really beautiful tank. You do have a spare top piece here that a 510 drip tip will fit into. You have some cotton. You have an Allen key tool for the RTA deck, spare glass, and of course your goodie bag with all your O-rings and some screws in there. I see some spare screws in there hanging around. Inside this container here is going to be one of your coils. We'll go ahead and take the top off like so. Pop it out like that. This is going to be your 0.15 ohm. It's all labeled right there with the wattages and your best wattages, so that's all labeled nicely. Just gigantic coils. Just huge, much like the smok coils. Kind of look in there. You can see there's three parallel coils in there. Looks to be parallel anyway. Gold-plated tip there. Just huge coils. In the other container here, just going to pop that top off. This should be the other set of coil, or the other 0.2 ohm coil. There you go. Nice big juice flow holes again. Set up pretty much the same. Gold tip. Of course, we're going to have the tank. It has the RTA section already installed. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't think the RTA section should be installed right away. I think one of the other pre-made coils, because I'd sure hate somebody to try to, just fill the tank and not even look and then fire it. That would kind of suck because it doesn't, it's not really made for that just yet. You got to wick it and all that. But there you have, designed by Vapeston. Looks like to be a silver-plated pin, non-adjustable. Do not use this on a hybrid device at all. You've got nice knurling at the bottom, but it doesn't do anything. Why? Because it's top airflow. Your airflow's up here, folks. If you just turn it like that, big, nice airflow, but it is still a little bit restrictive. But with the knurling right there, it's really super easy to turn. And of course, you see the pin right there. it just stops right there like so. And you can have it, you know, however far open you want it. Whatever's on one side is going to be on the other side. To fill this thing, you're going to take this top piece off here. This is all Delrin. Not a big fan of that either. You've got a nice O-ring in there. You see the O-ring right there. Not a big fan of that because if you ever strip these threading, you know, the threads in here, inside of here, it's never going to work again. So I would prefer to have this maybe be a harder, like a, you know, stainless steel, just like the tank is, and then just have a removable drip tip. I personally would do that versus, you know, this setup here, just, you know, because sometimes if you get that cross threaded, you might strip those threads and then you're done. But anyway, nice, you know, decent sized juice fill holes, not gigantic, but they're pretty decent size. And this is like a lot of top airflow tanks. The airflow goes down inside the chimney, back up through the coil, and then comes back up through your mouth hole. And of course, to take it apart, to remove your coil, to change your coil, however you want to look at it, you just screw that. And you can see that. You can see the top piece there. A little bit of a conical shape. All the machining, though, really, really nice. Glass is really thick. And as you can see down in there, you can see right down into your coils there for your RTA section. The coils look a little close to the cap there. I don't know if I really care for that. We just unscrew it like so. Just pull it right out. Kind of has a weird look to it because your cotton's going to be hanging down inside there, or you'll be able to see it. Kind of has a nice big gold-plated pin there, and it makes contact with your pin right there. Again, very nice machining. And of course, if you're going to wick this thing, you're going to have to unscrew this. A little bit tough in the beginning. You just screw it right off like so. And you would just wick, drape it. See the holes right down there? Just drape the holes. It's going to come out the bottom here. And then you just screw the coil back in and you're good to go. This thing, I've used it in the tank that I've been using. The RTA works really well. You know, it works really well. The coils are huge. You might want to go with maybe a little smaller diameter coil to make sure it doesn't hit the cap. But other than that, you know, I mean, these aren't touching, but they're damn close. You might want to make sure you check it on an ohm reader or whatever before you fire this thing to make sure it's not touching. But there you have it. Really nice RTA section. So what you do, obviously, this is one of the pre-made coils. You would just screw it right down into the base like so. You can feel that O-ring and everything. You feel how nice and tight the threading is in there. Super, super nice. Obviously, you're going to screw it in like that. Again, all the threading on this thing has been really smooth. Tighten it down. You would obviously fill it. Let it sit for a while. Let the juice soak into the coils. And you just throw on your cap. The nice thing about the top airflow, you don't have to worry about any leaking whatsoever. Zero leaking out of this tank. And that's pretty much it for the Vapeston Cloud Blaster. I think it's a beautiful tank. It really is. It's a little tall for me. It's a little bit big, especially with this mouthpiece being so tall. Really, the only thing I would change about this tank is make the base a little bit bigger. Make it a 28 millimeter. Why not make it 28? It is 25 or even 26, 27. I would make it a little bit bigger and shorten it down a little bit because it's just, you know, kind of a tall tank. This is next to the Slider L tank. You see how much taller it is? If you had this as wide, or, you know, as big around as the Slider L, it would be probably shorter. Here it is next to the OBS V tank, still just a little bit taller. And kind of the main thing what they were going after was the TF-V8, TF-V12. It is a little bit shorter than the TF-V8. That's it, folks. Vapeston Cloud Blaster sub-ohm tank. You know, I think it's the build quality is superb. It really, really is. Coils so far have been really, really good for me. No dry hits or anything like that. Crank these things up to the recommended wattages. Vaped them. Flavor's really, really nice, even though it is top airflow. I'm still getting decent flavor out of it. Is it the best out there? Probably not, but it is, you know, nice. If you don't want leaking, you don't want any leaking whatsoever, especially with that RTA section in there, you're going to want one of these. Let's take it back up top, vape on it, and talk about it some more. I really have been enjoying this. Right around 90 to 100 watts is pretty much kind of my sweet spot because it's not too hot. It's warm, but it's not too hot, and the flavor is just full on. So as you saw in the package, you get a 0.15 ohm in the package, good up to 260 watts, and then the other one good up to 180 watts, and that's the 0.2 ohm. And then also you get an RBA included, so that's a gigantic plus. Anything that includes an RBA is definitely a huge thumbs up. And I will say this, the RBA section is working really, really well for me. And of course, the biggest pro is probably the fact that this thing doesn't leak because it's top airflow. The airflow goes down from the airflow at the top there, goes down, comes back up through the coil, and I'm getting full-on flavor. I mean, I'm getting a lot better flavor than I did from some of the older tanks out there that had top airflow. Now, if you want to compare this to Another big tank, let's say the TFV8, TFV12 tanks. Personally, I like this one better because the flavor's about the same. The flavor is pretty good. You're getting the same, at least the same flavor as you're getting out of those tanks, but you're not getting any leaky. Every smoke coil I've ever used at some point starts to weep juice out of the airflow. That's just the way it is. That's just been my experience personally. Maybe you haven't had that experience, but for me personally, I've had that experience just about every time. So if I had my choice between a TFV12 and this tank right here, I would probably choose this tank. Now let's get to the cons. The two cons that I have for this tank. Number one, not a big fan of this drip tip or, well, chuff cap or whatever, because it's Delrin. The whole thing is Delrin. Which means if you over tighten it or something like that, once the threading in there gets stripped, that's pretty much it. You're done and over with. You're going to have to use the adapter that's in there, the 510 drip tip adapter. Now, it is good that they include that adapter, but I'm just saying, if you strip it out, it's pretty much done with that cap, and you're going to have to use the 510 drip tip adapter. Con number two is going to be, it's a little bit of a tall tank. It really is a tall tank. I would rather see this be like a 28 millimeter tank, so it's shorter and be able to use this, at least be able to have the same juice capacity. So everything else about this tank, the top fill, the top airflow, so no leaking, huge pros. The build quality, it looks, I like the build quality. It's pretty good. Most Vapeston products are really good build quality. So the build quality itself, aside from the Delrin, completely Delrin top cap, is really nice. I just wish it was a little bit shorter. Just a hair shorter would be kind of cool. So there you have it, folks. The Maganus Cloud Blaster by Vapeston, the ones that brought you the original Maganus tank, and they followed it up nicely with this tank right here. I think you'll like it. I mean, it's definitely one that's going to compete with the TFV8, the TFV12, and I think it does a really good job. I think it's right up there, if not surpassing them in flavor and cloud production. I mean, it's a cloud beast. It really is. The airflow is a little bit more restricted maybe than the TFV12, but it's still pretty much wide open. That's it for me, folks. The Maganus Cloud Blaster by Vapeston. I'll make sure and have links in the description where you could possibly buy one of these things. If you like these sort of tanks, I'm not big on these kind of tanks because I like to vape a little bit lower, 70, 80 watts in that range. And you can vape these at that wattage, but you're not going to get the full-on flavor. You don't really get the full flavor until you get up to around 100 watts. Then you really can feel that flavor coming through, and also the vapor production. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I really do appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up on this video. I want to thank Vapeston, Tom over there at Vapeston, for sending me all of these. And of course, we're going to be giving one of these away in this video. I wanted to wait till the last second to make sure you watched all the way to the end. We're going to be giving one of these away. All I need you to do is comment down below. What's your favorite super sub-ohm tank out there? Do you like the TFV12? Do you like some of the other ones that are out there? If you've tried this one, do you like this one? You could win another one. If you already bought one, hell, I'm going to give another one away. So there you have it. That's all you have to do. Comment down below. That's it. Pretty much it. And then I'll do a random comment picker about a week from now, and we'll choose, and then I'll send that out to you as quickly as possible. Obviously, you have to be 18 years of age or older, and, the typical stuff, you got to prove it, and we'll go down that route when we get to it. But again, thanks for watching, and, we'll catch you again real soon with another review.